I think everybody might have a bigger dick hole than me. I don't know what, like, the status with dick holes is. If it's good to have a little one, if it's good to have a big one. But every time I go to a urinal, everybody's piss sounds like... And mine's like... I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. And you want to just go, hey, dude, let me see your fucking dick hole. Come on, man, no, seriously, I don't want to suck it or anything, but I just want to see the girth of your fucking dick hole. Let me see if we're gonna go. I don't know, man. I mean, like, ladies, does it matter how big a guy's dick hole is to you? Yeah, they say it doesn't matter, but I bet it does. Fucking liars.
2009, they rode the Mangini Express, Rex did, right to the AFC Championship game. Then they built upon that and got to the 2010 Championship game. And then it came. The worst offseason in New York Jets history. Hey, what's happening? What's happening with you? What's going on, Derek? Jeremy, what's good, buddy? What's good, man? Jeremy is the winner of my Instagram contest, everybody. And it's not because he knew the answer. It's because he guessed every potential or possible answer that there was. Does he still win? I didn't set any rules. Parameters, as they say, right? So I didn't do that, which is why I didn't bust his balls on it. But let me ask you. If I asked you a question and you just if I have a contest and you guessed every single possible answer, obviously one's going to win. Do you still win? What do you guys think? I'm going to throw it to you guys. He's relentless. Yeah, he is. Jet Life 45. What's up, Guitar Man, buddy? I saw a comment from you. I meant to write back. I don't remember why I didn't. I was like about to write back to you. Forget what you said about doing all your old favorite shit or something like that. I saw that. I'll get back to you. I promise, man. I try to get back to every single one of you guys. You know that. What's up, Frank? I see you. Joseph Schwert. What's up, buddy? Concalo H9. Hello, my friend. Yeah, James Minks. What's up, man? Ant Jet. It's good to see you guys. Jets Life 45 again, right. Derek. Jordan Victor. Gary B. What's up, buddy? Jeff Davies. Scott. It's good to see you, Scott. Braden Bethwaite. Yeah, man. John P. You're all here. It's great. So does he win? No rules. Kept guessing. Yeah. That's what he did. You know, you even tried some sneaky shit. You know what I'm talking about, right? Jeremy knows. That's okay. You won, buddy. You won. Yeah, right, Derek. I try, man. I try. This has been a crazy whirlwind. It's funny. Usually, like every single day, I sit down with my YouTube channels, either I'll do Jetnation, I'll do GreenBean, and then I'll do Full-Time Coaster Tour, and I reply to everybody I can. Most of the time, I get to every comment that's there. Sometimes it takes me 2 hours, right? And I do that. This past like almost 2 weeks, I've had like 10 minutes at a clip. Obviously, I'm spending time with family and my mother and all that stuff, so there's that. But in addition to that, man, great adventure twice, the Jersey Shore Coaster Tour, the Coney Island thing, meeting Ryan for dinner, going to Sesame Place tomorrow, Dorney Park the next day. It's crazy. The Northeast is a crazy place, man. Like, you know, New Jersey, New York, Philly, Baltimore. Like, it's crazy here. There's so much shit packed in a little area. You guys know this. But when you leave, like I have, for a long time. You know, I lived outside of this area for the last almost 20 years now. And it's weird when you come back. Like I go out west and there's like one thing. Like I go out to Oregon and there's one amusement park. You know, there's one state park. You know, or I'm sorry, national park. There's usually, I think there's 2 in Oregon. But you know what I mean? It's like so spaced out. And here it's like bum, 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 bum. I got to keep eating Taylor ham and shit. It's crazy here. I gained like 15 pounds, guys. I'm not even kidding. So look, let's do this. Let's call this the Lawrence Cager period of time, huh? Let's call this the Lawrence Cager segment of the Green Bean Thursday Thick of It. You guys hear what's up? Who knows what's going on with Lawrence Cager? I just saw it about an hour ago. You guys are probably ahead of me. Oh, wait, no, before we do that, I got to ask you, how's the internet? Are we good? I have 4 options. Am I good right now? Let me get some of this. I have a lot of bandwidth being used right now. Hold on. I'm so overconfident these days. Hold on. Let me get it all off. You guys tell me though, how am I looking? Is my video good? Is my audio quality good? Internet is good. Thank you, Guitar Man. Thank you, Frank. Friggly D doesn't know about Lawrence Kid. Now, Friggle D, but don't, before anybody tells him. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jeremy. It's a little fuzz bean. Is it really, Greg? Everybody's saying it's good. Let me see. All right, give me 5 minutes and see. I got a brand new mic. This is my first time. Look at this thing. Ooh, lights. My first time using it. I'm setting up for a podcast with my wife, and I need another mic. So why not use the new one, right? But before we answer, thank you, Derek. Right, exactly, Jet Life. See, I was going to ask Friggle D, well, what do you think? If I bring up Lawrence Cager, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Sadly. I'll make myself bigger. Did you guys see the clip first? Let me see. I'll get myself off. Now, how am I? Usually if I'm small, I forgot I was even small. How am I now? Yeah, thank you. I got it. Who's that other guy? That young chap, that young potty mouth. Right, injuries and height. Well, his height didn't change. Nothing happened to his height. He's still 6'5" or whatever he is. You didn't know who it was? Yeah, that's me. That's what I decided that tonight was going to be a special night. Because let me tell you, I don't feel well. I'm really run down. I'm leaving New Jersey tomorrow. So I had to pack up everything today, and I've set up camp here. So like I was out in the sun all day, and I'm not really feeling well. And I think the sun kicked my ass today. It was hot. So I said, you know what, man? Let me just. Whoever comes tonight is going to be like my buds, you know. So I said, let me just start with the old comedy tape and see what's up. But so anyway, yeah. So that guy on. Good. Okay. Well, good, Greg. At least we're clear. Thank you, Blunt in Vegas. Good to see you, buddy. So Lawrence Cager already got hurt in OTAs. He's already hurt. Now, good news and bad news here. The good news, well, there's a couple good newses. One is, at least he's getting this shit done now, right? Because there's a weird thing with Lawrence Cager. I mean, the guy is uber talented. He's fast for a guy his size. He's actually fast. His route running is not bad. Like, he's a pretty good route runner. His work ethic is good. He's got very good hands. Knows how to high point the ball. Doesn't need to, but he uses his size well, which is 6'5". And he's, I mean, dude, size like that, you can't teach it, obviously. So there's a lot of good things, but the guy has literally never made it through a season. I mean, never. I mean, in college, he only has a handful of games. Now, in those games, he's lit up the world. It's crazy. But the thing with Lawrence Cager is you don't want to lose a roster spot for another developmental guy if the guy's never going to be on the field. So him starting out like this is actually a good thing if he's going to be this way, okay? You see what I'm saying? I'm not rooting for him to be injured or anything like that, but it's like, all right, man, just show your colors and leave. But positive number 2, and this is what I'm really most excited to see, is now that he's hurt right now, let's see what our new medical department can do. Let's see what Dr. DeWeese is all about. He's supposed to be preaching player-specific training, nutrition, and rehabilitation. Player-specific. What's up, Holton? I see you. So we get to see. Now, can doctor, now, you know, look, if somebody's broken, you're not going to be able, it doesn't matter what doctor it is, they're not going to be able to fix them. But maybe, just maybe, him getting injured this early shows Dr. DeWeese that he has to get to work on this guy right away. And it's going to give him the best shot, the best opportunity to actually get well. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think, well, Frank, it's a good question. Would he even make the team this year? Well, I think we're looking at a battle for 6 and maybe 7, right? Like, you know, sometimes you keep anywhere between 5 and 7 wide receivers. Every now and then you'll see 7. So a guy like, with our situation, we have Corey Davis up top. You have Elijah Moore, obviously. You have Denzel Mims, obviously. The top 3 is intact. Jamison Crowder is definitely a starter if they keep him. Now, I tend to think they are going to keep him, but if a rookie or a young guy really shows up and they're thinking, who should we keep? One guy's $10 million and most likely gone next year. One guy's $385,000 and he's in his second year of a 4-year contract. I could see it. So I don't know if Cager would make it. Let's say Jamison Crowder is there. So that's 4 guys. Now you have Keelan Cole, who was a free agent signing. I tend to think he's going to be a pretty close to a lock, right? I don't know how much guaranteed money he was given. It wasn't the largest contract, but I don't really know the specifics off the top of my head. But so that leaves DJ Montgomery, Braxton Berrios, the Smith brothers, and Lawrence Cager. So that's 5 guys fighting for 1 to 2 spots because 5 receivers are locked for conversational purposes. So I'll tell you what, a 6'5" guy with decent speed, great hands, and positive work ethic, he's got a leg up, doesn't he? 6'5" guys are hard to come by, man. Especially guys that know how to use it. So I don't know. He might. But he's also a guy that you can keep on the practice squad too. You know, that's what happened last year. Remember, he was supposed to be on the practice squad and we had to call him up because we were decimated. Yeah, it does, James. It stinks when you lose, or sucks. I'll use your word. I didn't mean to, what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't mean to PG it up. Wasn't my intention. It does suck when you lose good players in OTAs. I hope we don't lose any good players. Lawrence Cager, it's just one of those things, man. It's like, you take a flyer on a guy like that every day of the week. Like I said, 6'5", fast, hands, all the things. Even though he can't stay healthy. And if he can't stay healthy, he can't stay healthy, but he's worth taking a shot on. No doubt. He's worth taking a shot on for sure. So no, I did not see the CJ Mosley. What's up, Ryan Adams? Listening to some of your songs. You ever listen to Cold Roses, man? You got to get on that. Let me know what you think. If you wrote it, then I like it a lot. I want you to know that. But if not, So let me see. No, so I have not listened to the CJ Mosley interview. So I'm going to look and see what you guys have to say about it. Real quick, Guitar Man, I have not been to Florham Park. I have many times. I used to go roller skating at the Florham Park roller skating rink. That was one of my high school date places. Junior high school, and really, it was like junior high school and freshman year in high school. Man, I've gotten some, had a good time. Like young relationship good times. You know what I mean? Boobies and things like that. On the side, no parents. Getting dropped off by parents and like left alone for 3 hours with the girls in your high school. Yeah, that's Florham Park for me. But I haven't been there since the Jets have been there. So especially this trip. And the reason I'm not going to go there is because I don't know how to get in. You know what I mean? Like if I had any ability to even try to like get in, I would go there. But I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do or say to get in there. So even Jetnation, it's like we don't even, it's not like it used to be for us, unfortunately. Jetnation used to have field passes and press passes and all that shit. I don't know what's going on. I got to ask Phil, the guy who runs Jetnation, but he's on vacation. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, man, let me know if you can get me in. I'll definitely go. But so let's see. Blunted Vegas. Mosley made a great point today. Our coaching staff has been in the Super Bowls the last 5 years. The system works. I'm excited. Our coaching staff has been in the Super Bowl the last 5 years, or has been there in the last 5 years. Is that what you mean? Or has been in the Super Bowls the last 5 years? Is that true? I don't think that's true. Is it? I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that comment means, Blunted Vegas. Let me know. We'll get back to that. I'm excited to see our performance in medical department. Yeah, man, how they do things, because in recent history, our guys have been made of glass. Dude, there is, like a lot Jets fans, we like to talk about things like the curse of Joe Namath and bad luck, right? I know I do. And a lot of us talk about this stuff, but let's be real here for a minute. Aside from bad luck and bad bounces and all those kinds of things that are stacked against us, there is no good reason why we should have been the most injured reserve team in the NFL the last 2 years. Not 15th, not 16th, not 12th, not 20th. Last. The most. That's bullshit. So I think that Joe Douglas putting a focus on that, and not just like putting a focus on and interviewing some guys and hiring a different guy and saying, I think this is the guy. Like he literally gutted the entire organizational system as far as medical, nutrition, and rehabilitation are concerned. There's one doctor at the center of all of it. They all communicate to a hub. And so they're all going to be speaking the same languages. Anybody who's worked in a corporation or anything, you know that, man. If you have like the medical versus the clinical, they all hate each other. And the job of a good manager, a good director, is to make them understand that they are equally important, that what they are doing is not the most important thing in the world. You guys know I was a director for many years. That was my number one. I've taken over failing businesses and rebuilt them, right? My number one goal was to come in, assess the situation, and then without fail, whenever I looked at a failing program, I would always say, I already know. I have to find out where the language breakdowns are. And I have to create a system that is centralized so all of them are equal within the system. And they all know how to speak the same language. And somebody in the middle knows how to bridge each area. That's what Dr. DeWeese is. But not only that, he has a doctor over every other department. So we don't have a team doctor. He's the head doctor. We have 4 team doctors, all brand new. They just each have their own respective area, and they all report to Dr. DeWeese. It's fucking great, dude. We have never had this before. So I think Cager being injured right now is actually a look, I'm not rooting for him to be injured. And I don't want it to sound like that, but let's get to work on this guy. Let's put Dr. DeWeese and the rehab doctor to work today. Let's go. This is what we're dealing with. Don't come to the New York Jets and think you're fucking changing the league and all that with rosy goggles and stuff, man. That's not, you're going to have hard work to do. You're jumping into the muck. If you're going to fix it, you're going to have to work. You know what I mean? It's like Joe Douglas learned last year. You can't bring in Brashad Perryman and Doxson and then draft one receiver and think you're good. Not for the Jets, buddy. You need overkill over here. He thought two injury-prone guys were going to – it's like, not Mims, but the other guys. He learned. He paid attention. He said, oh, shit, okay, I got it. And look what he did in free agency and the draft. Look, so Blunted Vegas. Here, you can answer your question. Besides Gase, I'm so glad that the drama that was Jamal Adams is gone. They're paid off with Veer. Yeah, dude. I would have traded Jamal Adams for, look, we don't know what Vera Tucker is, so, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But the idea that he was the top guard in the draft, if you said you could trade Jamal Adams for the top guard in a Pro Bowl guard, you wouldn't do it? I would. Almost every day of the week. Now, I wouldn't trade Troy Polamalu. It's not like I minimize the safety position. I'm actually a safety guy. I love my safeties. Safeties throughout NFL history are some of my favorite players ever were safeties. Right? I loved Eric McMillan. I loved Ronnie Lott. I loved Lonnie Young. I loved Victor Green. I loved Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu. I fucking hated them. Don't get me wrong. But, man, were they good. They were like my favorite non-Jet players. It's always safeties and defensive ends or like middle linebackers. I love thumpers, man. I love guys who changed the game. Jamal Adams was not that. He's a very good football player. Don't get me wrong. But he's no game changer, man. He doesn't know how to show up when the chips are down. He doesn't have that. Maybe he will develop it. I don't know. He certainly doesn't grab the ball from the air from the opposite team and turn it around. He doesn't do that. But so I'm with you, man. I look at all the drama's gone, man. The only drama is coming from press trying to make drama. You know what I mean? Like fucking trolls and everybody else. All right, let's see what else you guys got. My jumbled comment was due to legalized marijuana. I apologize. I will stay out of it. No, dude, that's not what. Get out of here. You can smoke weed and talk to me. Just rephrase it. I just want to know what you mean. That's all. That's all, buddy. Hey, Amarella, what's up? So let's see, Frank. What do you got? I know I'm behind a little bit. I'm trying to make sure I don't just skip over large swaths of comments. Sala made it sound like the athletic performance department will connect all elements of health, nutrition, workouts, treatment, therapy, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Well, that's what Joe Douglas was saying when he first did it. And that's what, if you listen to Dr. DeWeese, like after we did that, I went on a Dr. DeWeese binge. Like I listened to the guy speaks all over the place, and there's all kinds of YouTube videos, even from before he was with the Jets. Like he was looked to. He was like kind of a groundbreaking ideas. He had groundbreaking ideas for sports medicine. So the way that they're looking to do it is to have all of these aspects work in concert with one another. So the nutritionist isn't just giving you blanket good nutrition. They're giving you nutrition that works with what the rehabilitation program is actually keyed on. And the rehabilitation program and the nutrition program are listening to the medical department. You know what I mean? So they're, and look, I'm no expert, right? So I'm not trying to say I understand exactly how it's going to go. But in an overview sense, that's what they're going to be doing. Dude, it has to be exciting for these guys. I mean, look, dude, they're coming to an organization that was so bad that it's a blank canvas. It's like we can do, they probably had conversations that with something like this, like, dude, we can do whatever we want here. Like your wildest dreams for the best possible football organization in the NFL, let's do it. Let's get it done. This isn't a story. This isn't the Steelers or the Ravens and they've got something that's working and you're here, you're the new piece, but you got to stay within the confines. You don't have any of that here. Break the glass. Blunted Vegas, stay in the comment section, buddy. Let's see. I skipped it. Victor Green, undrafted, correct. Victor Green and what was his name? Damon Pioli was another one I liked in that free agent class, if I remember correct. I think they were the same free agent class. It's funny. I thought Damon Pierre. Yeah. I thought he had a better chance to make the team. I did. I was young. I don't know. I was still reading daily news on the toilet in Little Falls, New Jersey between shifts, take an extra long break so I could read the Post, the news, the Record, the Ledger, the fucking Times. I read it all. So Atwater's another one, right? Scott Wilson. He's a good Steve Atwater, man. Now, I don't know. Like, look, I do have a habit of disliking players that were Jets who are no longer Jets. I'm sure you've picked that up with me by now. Now, I'm not unrealistic. Like, I'll never say somebody's great and then we trade them and they suck. Like, I'll never do that. But I used to try to make excuses for Jamal Adams. Like, he's so good that it just hasn't materialized yet. Clearly, he's bursting with talent. Any minute, he's just going to fucking peel off for like 8 picks in a season. That's what I thought. And it could still happen. But when I look at it objectively, I know what I was doing. He was a good player. He's not worth the drama, man. He's not. And Joe Douglas, I'm telling you now, I've told you before, I'll say it again, I maintain this point. Joe Douglas knew he was going to trade Jamal Adams the moment he went around him to the owner and bitched about being on the trading block. And then he wouldn't talk to Joe Douglas or Adam Gase for a week. Dude, what is that? Joe Douglas said, I'm done with this guy. I'm telling you. He knew how to play it. He's a consummate professional. He's been here before. He's not playing these games. He's not going to get into a tit for tat. He said, I don't know what he's talking about. I love Jamal Adams. He's a stud. Well, James, interestingly enough, this is one of the things that Dr. DeWeese is on record as saying he believes that what the Jets are implementing right now will be the new standard in the NFL moving forward. Now, that's great, dude. I love that you're thinking that way. But you don't know what you're up against here. And that's the thing with ideologues. They come to the New York Jets and they're going to get rocks in your face. How well do you think with rocks hitting your face? Because that's the Jets. You know what I mean? It's great. I hope you're ready to weather the storm because it's not going to be ideal working conditions. It's not. The New York Jets are hardcore. This is a hardcore environment. Our suctitude is so thick and so strong, it'll make the best quiver. So Dr. DeWeese brought strength, though. That's what I like. He didn't come alone. Like, I'm going to change the world. He didn't come like that. Before they even announced him, he had 4 other doctors and a nutritionist and a new strength and conditioning coach, which happens to be Robert Sala's get back coach. And dude, they had it all worked out, and they came in force. You see what I'm saying? That's why I like it. It's not just like Joe Douglas hired a great guy and he's talking shit. That's fine and dandy, but that's not enough for me, man. I've been hanging out around this team for a long time, lifetime. I've seen, hope die. It's like in the cruelest fashions, like carved up and sliced, and you're like, no, it just doesn't care. It kills our dreams. What else we got? Yeah. Nice. That's the thing, Amarella. Right. I would have traded Jamal Adams for a guy like AVT. Again, we don't know what he's going to be, but what he's supposed to be, right? I would have traded Jamal Adams for that straight up. I would have. But instead, we got another first next year. And then you can say, who'd you take with the 4th round pick? You know what I mean? Because we traded the 3rd. We traded 86. We traded 86 for 143. So who was 143? Was that Jeremy or Justin Pinnock? Let's see here. Just forget the numbers. You know what I mean? We traded back. So 146. That's right. So, no. Yeah. So technically speaking, it's 154, and that would be Michael Carter II. I think that's how it works out. So we got AVT, Michael Carter II, and a first next year. Michael Carter II is more than likely going to be our slot corner, in my opinion. If we sign Poole out of nowhere, fine. I don't think that's likely, and I'm not the biggest Javelin Guidry fan. I know lots of people are. I'm not. I'm rooting. Hey, if he's on the field, I'm rooting for him. I don't hate him. I just don't like what I see from Javelin Guidry. I don't really know what anybody's looking at. He gave away, like his stats are funny. People say he had the 2nd highest, whatever, PFF, blah, blah, blah. He was thrown at 15 times and he gave up 12 receptions. So, great. I don't care what his fucking PFF score is. I'm just telling you that when thrown on Javelin Guidry, they make the catch. So, and I didn't like him coming out. I did my research on Javelin Guidry. I didn't know much about him before we signed him, but once we signed him, I did a lot of work. As you guys know, I do that every year on our undrafted free agents. It's my favorite thing to do because those are usually guys we don't know. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, let me dig out this guy. I love to consume knowledge, especially about our guys. So I was like, I watched 2 full games of Javelin Guidry. I watched that guy in one game. I wish I remember what it was. He had 1 pick and then gave up 3 bombs for a total of like 130 yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 pass interferences. So, yeah, and he had a couple nice plays, but they threw at him constantly. And it was a very good game, but let me tell you, he lost that battle, man. And he shies away from tackles too much. But not to get in all into him. I don't know how he's developing and everything. Maybe last year was good for him. If he can win, that's great. But I think Michael Carter II is going to be our guy. That's what I think. Wouldn't that be nice? No, Jordan, I didn't see that. Again, these past 2 weeks, it's funny, like since the draft, maybe like a week or so after the draft, I've been like really in a whirlwind. I just haven't had the same kind of time that I usually have. So I'm still looking, I'm still reading, but I'm not consuming that fringy stuff. Like I saw a little piece of Wayne Krebet and Sabo, which was so cool, man. I just I only saw like maybe 5, 6, 10 minutes, something like that. But it was so interesting. And I wanted to watch more, but I couldn't. Let's see what Holton's talking about. Good to see you, Holton. We traded Jamal Adams, who I consider a weak side outside linebacker that has no pass coverage skills, for Veer Tucker, a first next year, and McDougal. McDougal, I'm sure. That is a trade I make 100% of the time. Well, McDougal. Right. Right. Yeah, and McDougal. McDougal, he was a placeholder, right? I mean, look, it's like one of those things. Like it's worth the swing. It's worth the swing. He's been a decent NFL starter. Who knows? You give him to Greg Williams and you see what he can do. If not, he's gone, and I'll replace him with my draft picks. You know what I mean? So, hey, John Heibendahl, what's up, buddy? Thank you. Oh, excuse me, guys. Does our defense depend on how CJ Mosley comes back? Lots of love, GreenBean. Thank you. Thank you, John. Depends. Well, I think it's all dependent upon what you really think you want the Jets to be this year. I don't think, like when you see these commentaries about we should bring in Melvin Ingram or Julio Jones or even Beasley, and it's like when that mindset, when you want to bring in guys like that to this type of team, what that says to me is that you seem to think that we are going for it this year. No, I don't think we're going for it this year. No, I don't think we're going to try to lose or anything. If we can, we'll fucking do it. We're going to play hard and all that stuff. But I don't think that they're going to, excuse me, I don't think that they're going to be trying, like this isn't the year that they feel like they're ready. Everybody's new. This is the first time Robert Saleh is going to be a head coach. It's the first time LaFleur is going to be an offensive coordinator. It's the first time Zach Wilson's in the NFL. We have a large contingent of first and second year players, young guys all over the place. It's going to take time, right? So I think what is dependent upon CJ Mosley is whether or not you're going to have CJ Mosley on your team. Like, he's important this year because just like they just did with Alex Lewis, I'm sure you guys saw, we just restructured Alex Lewis. And basically, it's not really a restructure. They said, look, we need you to take a pay cut. And for that, right, we will take a year off of your contract so you can seek a better contract next year. So they took a year off his contract and took $2 million off of it, right? $2 million or so, something like that. So with CJ Mosley, if he plays lights out this year, if he comes in, he plays 15 to 17 games, 14 to 17 games, and he plays like the CJ Mosley of old, he's one of the top 5 middle linebacker in the league, you're going to have a hard time getting him to take a pay cut. Now, that would also increase his trade value, and if to have a trade he might be willing to renegotiate, I'm not sure. But I don't think our defense is contingent upon CJ Mosley being lights out. I think our defense is really what they're trying to do is see who they have on their team. CJ Mosley, like, you remember that in Sesame Street? It'd be like, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. That's CJ Mosley on this defense. Yet he's surrounded by young guys. Now, he's not old yet, but he's midway. He's middle of his career. What is he, 7 years? Right? 8 maybe. So I don't know if, like, when you look Quinnen Williams, even Carl Lawson, I think this is year 4. This might be year 5 for Carl Lawson. But like guys like Jared Davis, he's year 4. And then you have all the young guys. You got the Zunigas, the Huffs, the John Franklin Meyer. You have all these young guys. Marcus May, CJ Mosley, Ashton Davis, Bryce Hall, even Blasan Austin, Blake Cashman, Jamie and Sherwood, Hamza Nasruddin. All these guys, there's a young influx of talent, hopefully talent, right, of young players. So CJ Mosley, I don't think we're looking at him like, man, we need him to be anything. I think it's his evaluation year too. He's played literally 3 quarters for Joe Douglas. They were a damn good 3 quarters, though. Right? Wasn't that a good 3 quarters, man? Holy shit. So I don't know, John. I'll tell you what I'm hoping for, though. You know what I'd love to see? Because it's not my job to think about the money. We do it. That's not my job. I don't really give a shit. You see teams like the Saints and Steelers and Chiefs, they figure it out every year. So if you want to keep good players around, potentially great players around, you figure out how to work with the contract. It's just CJ Mosley's contract is obscene. Maccagnan is a moron. So what I'm hoping for is that CJ Mosley shoots out of a cannon this year, is the best middle linebacker in the AFC, potentially, and the NFL. I don't know if he's going to be better than like Devin White, but why not? Let's say the best linebacker in the AFC. And he justifies his contract, and Joe Douglas figures out how to extend it and prorate some cash and push it down, and you get him down to about a $14 million a year, and he's with us for the rest of his career. That would be best case for me. Why not? Then you don't have to use one of your 2 first-round picks or, one of your 2 firsts or 2 seconds on a middle linebacker next year. Because I'll tell you what I think they're hoping for, you're hearing all this stuff about next year's cornerbacks and next year's edge rushers, right? So I think they're hoping that they can grab a cornerback next year. They'll everybody wants them to bring in all these guys and everything. I saw there was somebody in the chat saying any news on who was it? On Sherman. I haven't heard anything new. Oh, did you hear the big? It's so fucking funny, these guys. The big news. Well, I think it was Connor Hughes said Richard Sherman would sign with the Jets if he can't find a position anywhere else. It's like sometimes it's like for me, I have such an overdeveloped self-evaluation process. I could never write that kind of garbage down and actually put it out into the world. I'd be like, dude, what am I talking about? They're going to laugh at me. But they don't seem to care. I heard breaking news. I heard Richard Sherman. I heard from an inside source. Richard Sherman would sign with the Jets if he doesn't find a job out somewhere else, some other team. Like, ooh. I don't even know what that means. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But that was a big fucking report this week. So, so I don't know. I think that they're hoping Bryce Hall's the real deal. They're going to throw Bless on Austin, let him compete with Pinnock and Eccles and all those guys. They're going to just have a competition. Maybe they bring in Sherman. I don't know. As veteran leadership and shit. But I think they're going to look to use one of their firsts next year to solidify that position now. It's like it's a process, man. Use a first next year on look, this is way early, but on a corner and another offensive lineman. Or a corner and a fucking linebacker. Maybe next year's Pat Fryermuth. I don't know. Right, Frank. I agree. I think our safety group is not all that bad. And you throw in guys. Like, look, guys like Jamie and Sherwood and Nasruddin, They're safeties too. They're hybrid linebacker safety guys, weak side types, roamers, right? So we have some versatility, Frank, and that's what's so interesting about this team. It's so interesting. Like even Vera Tucker, like the pick for Vera Tucker is so interesting because, and we've talked about it before, but just to make mention of it, in the event Becton goes down, and like let's say shit happens, Vera Tucker is a competent left tackle. He can absolutely slide over and probably be better than the Adogas and McDermotts of the world, probably. And let's say they go down, which has happened around here. We've lost 3 tackles in a game kind of thing. We now have centers that can play guard, guards that can play center, guards that can play tackle, tackles that can play guard. We have all this stuff going on. And that's what you're seeing in the defense as well. You have guys like LaMarcus Joyner, who didn't do that well at nickel, but could. I mean, anybody could play anything, right? But not only, they had him out of position, but those 2 years as a nickel corner for the Raiders, if something happens, like, dude, we need you. He knows how to play it. He played it for 2 years on the NFL level. So I agree, man. It's not a bad group. And I'm really curious to see what Ashton Davis can do. I really am. Because I think he really showed some stuff last year. He really did. There was a couple games there where I started to think like, wow, man, this guy might be somebody. And then he got hurt, like everybody else on this team. You know what I need to see? That when guys get hurt, that they're not hurt anymore. That's what happens on winning teams. Guys want to play through little toeitis and left fingeritis. You know what I mean? Guys, on losing teams, they go, "Oh, coach, my knee." They hear a little click, and they're like, "Holy shit, I'm out." So you don't know how much of that was going on either. Soft tissue and it's still tight. Okay, get on the bike, because now they're not allowed to call anybody a wimp or anything. You're not allowed to do that anymore. Everybody would get their feelings hurt, and they'd call the NFL Players Association and la 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 la. Right? So I think on winning teams, a lot of these injury types of things are going to go away. A lot of soft tissues go away. They come back quicker. A lot of guys, they go out in a game and they come back in. Why? Because they're needed, and they know it, and they don't want to let anybody down. On a losing team for Adam Gase, I'm not going back in there. We're down 34-6. Let's see. What's Grant Rude saying? What's up, Grant? Saleh today basically said no vets are coming into the secondary because we want to see what we have there. It feels like there won't be any more big moves this year. Dude, nothing would make me happier. I'm telling you. I would rather go to, toward this into the season with the team we have right now than sign Nelson and Melvin Ingram and even trade for Julio Jones. I don't want him. Isn't that weird? I love Julio Jones. I remember when the Falcons traded for him in the draft, I thought to myself, they're nuts. They gave up 2 picks for this receiver. Within 1 year, I was like, holy shit. He's great, man. He's a great wide receiver. But do you want him? He hasn't been able to stay on the field in 2 years. He doesn't want to play in Atlanta anymore. Why? You know what I mean? Let's see what Denzel Mims has. Let's see what Corey Davis and Keelan Cole and Elijah Moore. If you bring on Julio Jones, he needs to get plays. He's going to demand it. So those plays would have gone to Denzel Mims and Elijah Moore. I'd rather see the young guys play. Let's see what we have. We have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 fifths, and 3 sixths next year, in addition to a third, a fourth, and a seventh. 11 picks. I'm all into seeing what we have this year. So we see what 11 players we need to bring in next year. Hold on. Maybe I'm just too demanding. Oh my God. All right. So let's see what else we got. What's Scott? Trey Lance, on the other hand, is apparently throwing over everyone's head. Interesting, because Shanahan took him, the mastermind of our scheme. Haha. Yeah. I wouldn't put too much into that. I think the reason that they took Trey Lance is because they have Garoppolo. If they didn't have Garoppolo, I think you would have been more likely to see Justin Fields. Trey Lance, every single evaluator said he needs a little bit more time in the oven. He's not done. He needs some development, man. Needs to cook. So I think that's pretty normal. I know I don't want to hear that shit about Zach Wilson. But even if we did, it doesn't mean anything yet, guys. It doesn't. Remember Sam coming in? Everybody said he was great. He's hitting everybody. Everybody loves him. Remember? I just want to see development, right? I just want to see it. I like Trey Lance. I don't think he's going to start this year, though. Wouldn't you guys be surprised if Trey Lance was the starter coming out of the gate? I would be. I mean, they traded a lot to come up and get him. I get that. But he's going to be a mid-season, maybe even next year guy. That's what I think. E-Rock. What's up, E-Rock? Mosley made me feel good watching his interview. I don't think he's going to be close to elite. All right. Yeah, I don't know. For now, we can hope. Right? We can hope. I got to watch the interview. It's weird. I've kind of, over the years, I've kind of lost my interest in player interviews for the most part because they all say the same stuff. I like when you're first meeting someone like that, those kinds of interviews. Like I like when it's like we signed Carl Lawson and James Hardy. I like those. Like, who is it? Let me see what this guy. I didn't watch any interviews of Carl Lawson on the Bengals. So I like Sheldon Rankins, what he said about Saleh and this, and like I like that stuff. But like CJ Mosley, I find him to be dry and drab. Anyway, and I don't know. I just think it's going to be all kinds of player speak. But it sounds like you guys are all pretty much saying across the board this was a good one. So I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check this one out. Keep singing Sinatra. Am I singing Sinatra? That was Prince. Maybe that was a while ago. I don't know when the hell you wrote that, Jeremy. After the case gets to Deshaun Watson goes to Philadelphia. Is that what they're saying now, Frank? I was listening to NFL radio. I was listening to Moving the Chains yesterday for a little bit. And who were they talking about? They were talking about... Maybe it was Philadelphia that they were talking about. That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think of Philadelphia, man? What do you think of that place? Eric Craig. What are you talking about? What I just heard? My wife sent me a text with her face overlaid on Prince's. And I didn't know what it was, so I clicked it for a quick second, and that's what it was. Yes, that was my wife. Is that what you're talking about? I hope it is. He didn't know the playbook last year. So how's that being worked out? Are they saying so? Why did their coach throw him into the game? What's that all about? You know what I mean? Nick Hunter, this is good. You and I are gonna get along, Nick, because I have similar feelings. I really hate this trend of elite players asking for trades because their team sucks and they want to win. If every player won a championship, championships would be meaningless. Yeah. Well, these guys see it going on in the NBA, right? These super teams, dream teams, where everybody gets together and they all go sign in one place and they kick everybody's ass, right? It's much easier to do over there. There's only 5 guys on the court at any given time. But the NFL, it's harder. But here's what I'll say about that. Number one, I'm going to say I agree with you. I come from an era where you dealt with the hard time to work through it and get to the good time. Those were your players. You knew who you had. There was a sweetness to winning because you went through the bad times. Now, I can understand the side of it which says, I only have one life, man. I only have one life. I've given 10 years to this company. I don't like the way that they're going. And I want to leave. You know, I do get it. And I think, like, when I think about people as, players as human beings, and like they want what they want and all, I do get it. It's like, this is my life. This is my one chance at an NFL career. I do understand it, but I don't agree with it. And I think, like, when did Julio Jones, let me see when he came in the league. Let's see when he came in the league. (2010) 11 years. So this will be his 11th year in the league. So now let me say this, Nick. I think a guy like Julio Jones, who has been someplace for a decade and wants out, is significantly different than Jamal Adams. 3 years, really 2.5 when he started his bullshit and wants out. There is a big difference. Yannick Ngakoue, Jalen Ramsey, these guys. Those are the guys I have a problem with. A guy like Julio Jones, when did he sign his contract? Let's take a look here. When did he sign his contract? Let's look on the internet. Remember when you had to know stuff? Remember that? When you would hang out with certain people because they knew certain things? Remember that, guys? Now anybody's and everything. Like, bullshit. And they're arguing with you and they're literally reading it on their phone. There's an app. Oh, wait, no, let me not even say it. All right, forget it. I'm going to slip into an oblivion. Let's see. So Julio Jones signed a 3-year, $66 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons, including $25 million guaranteed and an annual salary of $22 million. In 2021, it will earn base of $15.3 while carrying a cap hit of $23. So he signed it in 2019. So this is even the third year of his third contract. This is either his second or third contract. So again, Nick, I agree with you. I do. But a guy like Julio Jones, who has been quiet for the most part his entire career, hasn't said shit about Shinola, right? Hasn't said a word of complaint, been on some pretty bad teams, worked really hard, was a superstar on both good and bad teams. He's decided he doesn't want to play with Matt Ryan anymore. For whatever reason, third coach, fourth coach, he's just kind of done down there. He's on his third contract, let's say. It could be his second, but he's on his third. Let's say he's 3 years into his second contract. And he's been there a decade. That's a little different than what we're seeing on a daily basis, in my opinion. So Julio Jones, I don't think is so much of a problem as you and I are seeing elsewhere around the league. You know what I mean? That's my thoughts on it. I do agree with you, though. I think these guys are a bunch of crybabies. I think that Dick Butkus would knock every single one of their heads off. That's what I think. I also think Mo Lewis would knock every single one of their heads off. And Marvin Jones and Kyle Clifton. I do. I think that Ronnie Lott could run up head to head with every single NFL player in the last 5 years, and he would win every single time. That's what I think. I think there has not been anybody as tough as Ronnie Lott in the league in a decade. Not Khalil Mack, not Von Miller, not since Ray Lewis, whenever he retired. Ray Lewis was about as tough as we've seen. All right, who? Tell me who. Right? Let's see here. What do we got? I'm way behind, so I'm gonna skip some stuff and see what you guys. I'm like behind, so I could be talking about some shit, and then you guys are commenting, and it's taking me like a half hour to get to your comments. So I'm gonna skip. If you had something that was in there that you wanna say, let me know. Like just rewrite it or copy and paste, whatever you got to do. Because I got to catch up. I got to do it so I can actually talk with you guys. I'm a long-winded guy. You know how I am. I'm long-winded. It's what I do. I talk. I can talk forever. I can just talk forever. What's Greg saying? At a point, all players should have the right to shop their talents around the league without fear of franchise tags and other gimmicks that benefit only the owners. And that's the other side. And that's what I was saying. Like, I do understand. Like, this is their life, man. And, like, they come into the NFL without choice, right? They come into the NFL without choice, but the excitement of it all, of realizing the dream, they don't even know if they're going to get picked. So they're willing to deal with that because they don't even really know. Most guys, I mean, there's the first round guys and the second round guys, but there are guys that they think they're going to be second round picks and they don't get picked. Happens every time. Look at Nasruddin. He said, dude, I'm a first round talent, kid. I don't know what people are thinking. The sixth round, that guy sat around for 3 days. Like, mother, you know? So they're willing to deal with that because the system is the system and it's so exciting, and you all of a sudden you cross over this membrane and you're a multi-millionaire and all that, minimum making $350 a year kind of a thing. So then their first 4 to 5 years are tacked on. Like there's no wiggle room. And even when that's over, you're either a restricted free agent. You know what I mean? There's all these little designs by the owners saying, hey, look, man, we just gave the guy $35 million. We don't want to just be able to lose him like that. The NFL Players Association negotiated. But Greg's right. There are all these little tricks, like he said, gimmicks is the word he used, a good word, that keep the player attached to a team. Now, if they really hate the team, like they don't like anybody there, they just don't, this team is garbage, and they were there for 4 or 5 years already and they want to leave, I agree with Greg. I think at some point, every player should have the opportunity to shop themselves. Every player. Unless you suck balls and, you know. What, you know what I mean? Like, and of course. But it's when it's, I think the complaint comes from when you're within your first contract and you're already squawking about, I need to go. Like Jamal, I was so depressed. I didn't come out of the house. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Depressed. You know, you're in your first contract. You're 24 years old. Just suck it up, dude. At 24 years old, you know what I was doing? At 24 years old, let's see, I was pumping gas again at 23. I went backwards a little bit. At 24, what the hell was I doing? I don't know, some construction shit. You know what I mean? Digging holes. Something like that. Landscaping. $10 an hour as the foreman riding the Kubota. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's all, you know. But perspective is perspective. I wasn't as talented as them either, sadly. Well, hold on, fellas. So, you know, and like, you know, you look at the Aaron Rodgers situation too. It's like, this is a guy who, did you know, look, I heard on Sirius XM football, NFL radio, right, that Aaron Rodgers called Brett Favre in the past couple weeks and apologized, basically said, I get it. I now know what you were dealing with back then. I never put myself in your shoes. Like, you know, we've all heard the stories that Brett Favre was a douche to Aaron Rodgers when he first came in the league. Right? We've all heard this stuff. And you think, Brett Favre is a grumpy old man and he knew to get, you know, the kid, you know, he wanted to hold him down and blah, blah, blah. But the Green Bay Packers now have had 2 consecutive Hall of Fame quarterbacks that for some reason decided to draft their replacement while they were playing league MVP level football. So why? Why aren't you using your assets to support these guys? Why are you using your assets to replace these guys? Why? So Brett Favre was pissed. That's why he wanted to go to Minnesota so bad. It had nothing to do with the fans. He wanted to go to Minnesota to get the opportunity to throw footballs against that organization. And so Aaron Rodgers called Brett Favre this week or 2 weeks ago, whatever, in the most, you know, recent days, and said, I get it. And you heard Aaron Rodgers. I tell you what, the way Aaron Rodgers has actually handled this has impressed me. He came out and said, I want to make this clear. This is not about Jordan Love. I love that kid. No pun. Right? What's up, Mess? I see you. What's up, Big Green? Free amigos. There you are. Look at all these. Look at all everybody popping in. I didn't see you guys here. Red Dog, what's up? But so he made sure to state very clearly, Jordan Love didn't do anything wrong. And I have no problems with him. But I do have a problem with them using 2 draft picks, one of them being a first rounder, to pick him when I have no damn weapons. There was a stat that Aaron Rodgers has only thrown the football to one other Hall of Fame level talent in his whole career. And it wasn't even a wide receiver. I forget who it was. It wasn't even a wide receiver that they drafted. It was the Jaguars drafted him first. I forget if anybody remembers his name. But like, You know, oh, look, yeah, right. James, Aaron Rodgers, right. So it's like at some point, man, like the teams have to be held accountable at some point, too. Like we're fans of teams. Like they could literally take every player off the team of the New York Jets and put a whole bunch of new players, and we're going to talk about them and root for those guys because we're fans of the team, the colors, the organization. And if the organization has a history of screwing over their legendary players, at some point they have to be held accountable. And Aaron Rodgers is saying, I'm done giving you everything I have. You've given me nothing. Think about this. The last 25 years, even more than that, Brett Favre played for them for 12 and Aaron Rodgers is on 16. So that's 28 years, if my numbers are correct. They've had 2 consecutive Hall of Fame quarterbacks. They have 2 Super Bowls victories. You know what I mean? Now, that's great, and they've been competitive, but shouldn't they have more? And if it wasn't 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, would they have any? So I don't know. Why aren't you supporting these guys? The Jets just did it to Sam Darnold, and we did. It's almost like we've, like we're murderers. No, because we suck. So, That's right, AC. There's a video on YouTube where he describes why he did it. It's so great. I love YouTube. You guys are on YouTube right now. But I love YouTube, man, for that kind of shit. Back in the day when that stuff happened, that was just a story. You guys remember, all my older guys, you remember, you had to try to go find this stuff in like a magazine or a newspaper clipping or talk to a friend who knows a guy. Now you look it up online and there's Ronnie Lott talking about, the doc said you could either have the surgery and miss the game or you can cut your finger off and play. He said, take the finger. Nobody's doing that today. Sorry, buddy. I've got to keep my finger. I'm not going to lose my finger for a football game. I'm sure there are a guy or two out there, but, very few are wound like that. Nick Mangold was super tough, Jeremy. I agree. Loved him. Yeah, Rusty Spooner. See, Rusty and I, we talked a lot before the draft, and we identified that Rusty Spooner and I think a lot alike. We do. Rusty, did you hear Zaven Collins' call when he was drafted by Steve Keim, the Arizona Cardinals? And I said I wanted Zaven Collins all year, all offseason. I love him. Love this player. He said, because I'm not going to wait for you to answer. Let's see if you answered. Nope. He said, let's kill people. That was Zaven. So the general manager calls Zaven Collins, says, hey, I'm going to pick you. And he says, we're going to kill people. I'm going to kill them. That's what he said. That's a middle linebacker mentality. I'm going to kill them. That's what I want. Remember that game, that movie, The Program? With that guy, he would say, you're the guy who hurt my mother. You're the guy who robbed my mother's house. Remember that? That linebacker, he was just like a beast. Say, I recognize you. And the guy, I don't know your mother, you know that. But it's a funny thing, when you talk about the NFL today, Let's see here. I love Zaven Collins. Let's see here. Oh, Ezra Golan. What's he saying? I fucking hate that stat. He has so many weapons. Just because they are good at finding second round wide receivers doesn't mean he has no weapons. Dude, it cannot be argued that the Packers have really done a disservice over the years with how they have stocked their roster. Okay? It's not even in question. It's not to say you haven't gotten anyone. But how about using some premium draft capital on somebody for your Hall of Fame quarterback, man? I get it. 16 years, man. It's not, Aaron Rodgers isn't complaining after 2 years, isn't 4 years. And I'm not, look, I'm certainly not an Aaron Rodgers defender. You know what I mean? I have had problems with him his whole career. He's always saying shit that rubs me wrong. I hate those commercials, the whole thing. But, look, man, the Packers have routinely decided not to give premium assets toward helping out the quarterback. It goes way back. Now, when you take a wide receiver in the third round or the fourth round or the sixth round, he ends up being good. That's playing with a Hall of Fame quarterback will do that. But how about giving them some guys when the roster's depleted? How about giving them some guys to help them? You know what I mean? That said, I don't want to get into an argument about Rodgers. I'm just saying this whole period of time, Aaron Rodgers on the Packers for 16 years, and when they traded up to draft a quarterback, dude, I don't know how you can even defend that when you have Aaron Rodgers on your team. And they did the same thing when Brett Favre was there. How do you do that? Brett Favre had 6 more years in him. You know what I mean? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Again, I don't care enough about it, but it's just interesting. It's an interesting thing. So when a player has an issue with an organization and it's years of it, they do have some rights, man. They have some rights. And they should, because don't forget how long the players had to fight for even getting any. The players made $30,000 a year, and there was no concussion protocols. You broke your leg, they threw you in the garbage. If you want to come back, you better be able to get on the field. They had no guarantees, nothing. They couldn't leave a team. Don't forget, 1991, right? Wasn't it 1991? Was the first year of free agency before that, and I remember that. I remember, players, they stayed on one team, like a trade or a player leaving a team. It was rare. Yeah, remember when that was news, Derek? It was actually good. I used to watch Sports Center. I would leave Sports Center on, in the background, and just wait for news. Now it's garbage to me. I'm old though, man. I know that. You know what I mean? I'm aware. I hear myself when I talk. Yeah. Well, and Frank, they I don't know if he should. I don't know, right? They're saying he's not looking all that great. But it's not only taking him in the first round, dude, they traded up for him. What did they trade? Let's see what the trade was. So Three ended up being made when he traded up to select quarterback Jordan Love in the first round. So what did they trade? Trade up to select Jordan Love. Let's see here. What did they give up? 26th pick. Utah State. No general manager. Let's see. I haven't. The Packers traded the number 30 selection to the Miami Dolphins at 26. It cost them a fourth. That's not too bad, but they used the first round pick on a quarterback when they have Aaron Rodgers. So they used a first and a fourth to take a quarterback who, like Frank is saying, isn't even, the reports are that he shouldn't even be in the NFL. I don't know one way or the other about that, but dude, you have Aaron Rodgers. All of your resources should be going toward wrapping that guy in the best talent in the league. You should have a dynasty. You have the hardest part done. I think they're so spoiled by having quarterbacks for the last however long. They don't value it like teams like us. You know what I mean? Frank, what number are you talking about? What number did you call? Remember joke lines and shit? Remember those things? I don't even know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I can't watch any of it either, Red Dog. I can't. I can't. I watch here and there. If I try to listen to these, it's funny, man. I'll put on a show, like I'll see Jets, whatever. I put it on. Within 5 minutes, I'm already off recording a podcast or something. Like, did you hear this shit? This is what I'm watching. I can't watch it anymore. It's all so deliberate to me. Like, it's weird. Like, for a long time, I don't know if I cared enough to realize it, or maybe it wasn't like that, or I don't know. But for some reason, this past however long, year, 2, 3 years, I watch it and I immediately see motive. Maybe I'm just damaged goods. I don't know. That's possible too. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate the super chat. GreenBean, on your trip to Lake Compounds, how about staging a Jets fan rally outside the nearby ESPN campus in Bristol, Connecticut to give them the business? Is that, hey, Greg, are you up there? I would do that. But we can't show up with 6 people, dude. That's the scary part. If you guys are going to come in force, shit, I'd love it. I'll make as much noise as you guys help me make. Greg, I would love it. Are you up there? Because I'm going to Lake Compounds. I got to get on Boulder Dash. You guys believe I'm going to Sesame Place tomorrow. I haven't been to Sesame Place since I'm 10. They have 2 coasters over there I got to get on. But like Greg said, Lake Compounds is a hidden gem. Only people from up that way really talk about it. It's funny because I travel around and I see people from all over the country. Like RVers are from everywhere, right? So they'll go, "Oh, you're riding coasters? I got a gem. I got a secret place for you, man. Lake Compounds." And I'm like, "Yeah, Boulder Dash and blah, blah, blah." And they're like, "Holy shit." I'm like, "Yeah, dude. So it's like either people from up there know it or like coaster enthusiasts like myself. We're like, dude, there is a secret gem in Lake Compounds. There's 3 coasters there. All of them good. But Boulder Dash, buddy. Let me make sure I'm talking about the right one. I all of a sudden feel like I'm wrong. I hate when I'm wrong. Don't you guys hate that shit? When you're talking and somebody goes, actually, it's this. And you look it up and you're like, oh, my God, why did I think it was the other thing? That's what happens when you talk as much as I do. You're bound to be wrong from time to time. Let's see. Where is it? There's Edaville. Wait, hold on. Where is it? Hartford, Connecticut. There it is. Oh, there's 5 coasters there, buddy, but Boulder Dash is 1. But right, they have 2 kiddie coaster kind of things. Phobia, that's the other one I want to get on. That's a skyrocket too, Greg. It's like if you've been to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, like Tempesto or Busch Gardens, Tampa, Tigress, same thing. And then they have Wildcat, which is another 1927 Woody They got some goodies there, buddy. Wildcat and Boulder Dash. But let me tell you, if you guys want to do so, look on the screen and see what Greg Tarr is talking about. Greg's in. I see it. Look what he says. I'll show you in a minute. I want to leave this on the screen a second. If you guys want to help, Greg, we should talk DM style background. If you want to go to ESPN's offices with a sign that says, "We're sick of your shit," kind of a thing, you let me know, dude. I'll be there. I'll be up that way. I'm going to be in New England for the whole summer. Now, a lot of it's going to be in Maine, which is like 5 hours north of this area. 6 maybe. I'm in Bar Harbor kind of area. But, dude, nothing would make me happier than to go into New England and rattle some cages, dude. Come on, Greg. Greg, you should talk. We should talk, bro. If you're just playing, you're just playing. But you got me thinking. I'll make some noise with you. And I'm already going after, like I think I might have told you guys, I'm trying to set it up that for every Jets game, wherever I'm going to be, I want to try to locate the local Jets fan club and do live streams from there. Remember last year I was doing Jetnation live streams for the games? I want to do this year, I'm going to be doing Jetnation live streams again, but for each game. But I would prefer to do it from the Jets fan club. So if I'm in Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Jets fan club, I'm doing the Jetnation live stream from there. You know what I mean? So that would be cool if we get like the whole Connecticut or New England, whatever. Where's Lake Compounce again? Lake Compounce is, let me see. Hold on. Come on, this website. Got so many pop-ups and stuff. Where's their address? Hold on. They're in Connecticut. Yeah, they're right by Hartford. Where are they? Bristol. That's right. That's what it's right by there. That's close. Wow, Greg. That's close. All right. So, Greg, we should talk more about that one. Yeah, Eric, I hear you, buddy. I don't know, man. See, Rusty, I gotta say, I don't feel the same way. I don't know about Urban Meyer, and this Tebow thing, I don't know what that's all about. But maybe he just comes in and plays well as the third tight end. Who knows? I think it's a gimmick, but I mean, dude, I love Laviska Shenault, dude. Love him. Love him. Him and Mims were like almost like they were kind of like intermingled in that draft. I went back and forth from which one I like better. Ultimately, I like Laviska Shenault better, but Mims was right there. But man, Trevor Lawrence throwing to Laviska Shenault, dude. I don't know. Travis Etienne, that other running back they have, Laviska Shenault, they got something down there. So I don't know if they're going to implode. I love it. I love it. I ain't rooting for them or nothing. But Jeremy, thank you, buddy. Jeremy, guys, just so you know, Jeremy won the contest on Instagram that I have. He cheated, but it's okay. He won it. It's as fair as that contest could have been. You won it, buddy. But so Jeremy won being my co-host for the second half of the show next week. So I'll be on for a little bit without him in the beginning just to kind of set up whatever. And then so Jeremy's going to be our co-host. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you guys are too. He's one of you, He's here every week with you guys. So I'm psyched about it, man. I'm happy to do this, and I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you for the super chat, Jeremy. Ryan Leaf and some cronies were showing their ignorance about Wilson and the Jets last week. Leaf, of all people. Talk about the opposite of tough. I know. Ryan Leaf. No, I don't know specifically what you're talking about because I didn't hear it. But yeah, dude, Ryan Leaf is potentially one of the greatest draft busts of all time. He's in the conversation. I think somebody like Jamarcus Russell is probably a worse draft bust, honestly. But Ryan Leaf is right there. And remember when Ryan Leaf got into that argument with the fan in the stands, and he like, it was like during practice or something. He went into the fan and went into the crowd to beat him up. Remember that? Let me see if I can find that. Let me see. Hold on, Eric Craig. I see what you're saying about the DFW up there. Yeah, I that's great because I plan to be in Texas. It's weird. Like, so next winter I'm going to be in like California, Arizona, California. But then after that, I intend to scrape down through Texas again. Amarillo and all that. Oh, yeah. Let's see here, guys. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to look for this. Let's see. Where is it? I don't know. It's like, it's weird. It's not. I can't find it, guys. I'll try. If anybody can find it, let me know. Send me the link or something. But anyway, I would love to show you guys that. It was big news back in the day. But yeah. Hey, Keith, you know what's funny? Mark Schlereth, I'm going to invite him on. He, you know, when he was fighting with Harrison Glazer, remember, you know, you guys know Harrison, right? He's on Twitter and he has a podcast and everything, who I'm actually going to be a guest on his podcast in a couple weeks. But he said to Harrison, rather than fight with me on Twitter, why haven't you invited me on the show like a man or something like that? And I don't know what happened after that. I think like he waited a little while and like it kind of fizzled out, but he should have absolutely. I don't know exactly why, but if that was what was going on, I would say, dude, come on tonight. I would have fucking did a live stream right then. With all respect to Harrison. Again, I'm not saying he didn't say that or maybe Mark is full of shit, but I'm going to reach out to him because Mark Schlereth, he took a dig at me and I didn't ask for it. I wasn't talking about him. I wasn't talking to him. He probably saw the video, dude. I'm sure somebody gave it to him. You know how this stuff goes. So he was looking. Because how the hell do you find... I have 900 followers on Twitter. How is he replying to my tweet? It was like a 3-person conversation. How are you responding to my tweet? Calling me cute. What is that? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But I would love to have him on. I would offer him live. I don't give a shit. I don't have to record it. We could do it live, man. We could just talk about what you are. I'm not, let's do it. He's a buffoon. And I would love the opportunity to discuss such buffoonery. Oh, Shadow Maniac, you need to stop. You're making me blush. Yeah, see? What a vag, right? Guys, like if I was going live with Mark Schlereth, I would tell you guys in every medium I have, tune in. And I'd record it so you can always check on it afterwards. I don't think he'll say yes. I'm honest to God, not that he's afraid of me or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but I don't think that he has any interest in coming on with me. It's not worth it to him. He's got 500,000 followers. I have a couple thousand. And whether or not I'm his equal and being able to talk. You think he fancies himself a quick talker. He's got jokes, right? He fancies himself somebody who can use his words. But I don't know if it's worth it to him to come to my level yet. If he has an agent, his agent would say, "What are you, stupid? Don't do that. Don't go down there." But he already did. He did. Why is he responding to me? That's what I want to know. He's looking. He's fishing for something. And all I said to him was, he said, "Oh, that's so cute." I said, "Is it as cute as wearing your helmet in the house?" That's it. That's all it took. He was gone. That's right, Frank. He doesn't know. He doesn't know yet. Like, it's funny, I tell people sometimes when they want it, like, and this is us, right? We're just chatting, we're just talking. But like, dude, I used to run groups with like 50, 60 drug addicted, criminal minded men. And I used to challenge them for 2 hours. I would be alone in a room with the most hardened, kind of manipulative, tough guys for years. I would get them in the room. I would slam the fucking door. And for 2 hours, I would go at them and challenge them. I'd make them cry, all kinds of stuff. I know how to do this. This is, I don't want to do it anymore. And I did it in a good way. Don't get me wrong. I'm not making guys cry. It's not what I'm saying. But it's like, the one thing I know how to do is talk. I know how to fashion a conversation. So I would love it. I would love it. And I think, I don't think it's worth it for Mark Schlereth to talk to me, but I'm going to invite him. Yeah, right, Keith, I can't find it. Yeah, Ryan Leaf has his own show now. It's weird. I caught wind of that, but I didn't watch it, E-Rock, you're in Indy? Let me see. While I'm driving through Indiana, I'm scraping the Great Lakes, E-Rock. So I'm going to be hitting like Valdemere and on Lake Erie right there and Cedar Point. Then I'm going to bounce down in Ohio to Cincinnati to Kings Island. Then I'm going to hit Indiana Beach. And I'm going to be in Michigan and scrape up around Lake Michigan to like some Minnesota stuff, Mount Olympus and things like that. And then I'm heading through like down through St. Louis and Oklahoma City and that kind of stuff. And then I'm heading west. But so if I'm close enough to Indianapolis and our game in Indianapolis is then, like when I'm there, I think I just might have to go with you, E-Rock. Yeah, right. Right, E-Rock, Yeah, I bought my new RV in Houston. This RV that you're seeing right here, yes, I bought this just outside of Houston. In my 10 minutes in Houston, I bought this thing. Yeah, he is a coward, Big Green. His jelly. I know, it's what I told him. I said, I'm generally speaking, I'm not afraid of people that wear helmets in the house. You know what I mean? Like here's the thing about helmet in the house. Then we'll move off Mark Schlereth. It's like when you put a helmet on and then record a video, like there's thought there. It's not like, real quick, I sporadically, it was a moment, I put a helmet on. It's not that. He decided, he crafted a response to Jets fans. He put on his Super Bowl rings and he recorded probably 5 or 6 times. You know what I mean? He did the whole thing. And he put the helmet on to try to achieve some goal. There was a desired result there. There was thought put into that. Now, what is it that you want us to know you're a Denver Bronco? We already know you're a Denver Bronco. So what is it? You're tough? I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to pretend to know, but I think he looks like a moron. Why is your helmet on in the house? What are you doing? You look like a tool. I don't know anybody else that does that. When's the last time you saw Peyton Manning filming videos with his helmet on in the house? attacking a fan base. When's the last time you saw Brett Favre? When's the last time you saw anyone else do that? No one does that. He's probably the first person to ever put on his helmet 20 years after he retired and curse out a fan base. He's probably the first person to do that. So, right. And in truth, Frank, that AFC Championship game was not even won by the Broncos. We lost that game. We fumbled, I think we had 3 turnovers by the guys who were, Keith Byers turned it over, Curtis Martin turned it over, and I believe David Meggett turned it over. So all these Parcells guys, just for some wacky reason, fumbled it in the red zone. Vinny Testaverde played lights out that game, man. It was not his fault. And I've said this a million times. Like, once, I loved that Vinny Testaverde. 1998, man, was so much fun. 99 was going to be great, and it was still a fun year. And if we would have had one more, if we would have gotten in the playoffs, we were going to the Super Bowl. But I was a big Chad guy. Once we drafted Chad Pennington, like a year into that, I wanted out with Vinny. I wanted Chad. That's what I wanted. I was done with Vinny throwing 2 touchdowns and 2 pick sixes. I was just done with that style, So, anyway, is my sister still here? Or did she leave? She's leaving? All right. So, guys, I got to wrap it up. We're going to wrap this one up. I thank you guys. This was great, man. This was good. I feel better. It's weird. I feel better than I did. As soon as I hang out, I'm like, oh, I don't feel good. I know it. But I get like an adrenaline. It's weird. So thank you for that. I appreciate you guys coming on to hang out with me. I look forward to hanging out with you guys whenever I get to do it. I really do. If you left a comment on one of my videos and I didn't get back to you yet, I will try my best, I promise, to do that. Next week, Jeremy Cravat will be our co-host for being the most brilliant man for knowing the answer to the question or knowing how to get there. I'll tell you that. So I'm looking forward to that, man. So, yeah, and the podcast will come out on Monday as it does every week. And who knows, man, I might slide in a couple videos. There's a few things to talk about. So I'm going to try to keep you guys, try to keep it coming out for you guys. I just put up a King Dakar video on Full-Time Coaster Tour if you want to check that out. Dude, I was so happy. The last 3 times I went to Great Adventure, King Dakar was shut down. And I've heard it's down more than it's up. And from what I understand, King Dakar they're planning to run it all season. They said it's running better than ever. They have it all tweaked out. And it was a blast. Yeah, I was there yesterday. So I real quick made a King Dakar video. And go check it out. It's at Full-Time Coaster Tour. If you haven't subbed over there, please do. I'll leave you guys with the comedy thing that I started it with. This might be the last time I play this here. But I'll play it nonetheless. This is me about, 17 years ago, 16 years ago, something like that. I didn't even have a gray beard yet. So, guys, have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy.
I think everybody might have a bigger dick hole than me. I don't know what, the status with dick holes is. If it's good to have a little one, if it's good to have a big one. But every time I go to a urinal, everybody's piss sounds like... And mine's like... I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. And you want to just go, hey, dude, let me see your fucking dick hole. Come on, man, no, seriously, I don't want to suck it or anything, but I just want to see the girth of your fucking dick hole. Let me see your dick hole. I don't know, man. Ladies, does it matter how big a guy's dick hole is to you? Yeah, they say it doesn't matter, but I bet it does. Fucking liars.
So I'll give you the lineage of just one situation for Adam Schefter, and then you tell me if you buy this bullshit that he's saying right now. So Adam Schefter told us a few months back, Sam Darnold was going to net us a second and a fifth. Remember? He said a second and a fifth. Then some shake-up happened, and everybody started talking, and they said Sam Darnold has all kinds of people calling. The teams are motivated. They want Sam Darnold. Adam Schefter comes on the radio show and says, I think, honestly, he's going to get a late first-round pick. That's what I think. Pittsburgh, that kind of Saints, in that realm. So he went from second and fifth to first. He's riding the waves. That's all he's doing. He's riding the waves. Now, I heard earlier this morning, they're talking fourths and fifths. These guys ride the waves, and they all try to pretend that they know something. They don't know anything, especially when it comes to Joe Douglas.